guys, welcome to another WoW Weekly with Myst. I hope everyone's doing great. And for this week's events, we have kind of an exciting week in WoW this week. So I'm going to leave the most exciting part for last because it's going to take a little longer to discuss. But for this week's events, we have on August 16th, there'll be the free t-shirt day. You just go into the city and they're just all on the ground. You just pick them all up. Really easy, yeah. So great day if you want some more like t-shirt transmogs and stuff. The PvP brawl will be Deep 6. Time Walking is back. It will be the Burning Crusade one. And then the new event of the week is Kalimdor Cup. So Kalimdor Cup is actually a 2-week event. So I'll start up on reset on August 15th and it'll run all the way until August 28th. So I've gone over the Kalimdor Cup, but it was before the patch actually released because, you know, they definitely chose to take their time releasing the event in this patch. So I'm going to go over the details again. So my apologies if you've heard this spiel, but it has been a solid month since I've probably talked on it. So the Kalimdor Cup, what exactly is the Kalimdor Cup? So it is a dragon riding race, a bunch of them, that happens in Kalimdor, obviously. This does not mean that you can just, freely go dragon riding in the old zones. You legit can only do it for this Kalimdor Cup. So you will not be riding your own drake. They have specific drakes that will be out there. So there's the riders of the Azeroth Drake, riders of Azeroth Proto Drake, riders of Azeroth Slither Drake, riders of Azeroth Velocid Drake, and then riders of Azeroth Wilder Drake. The big purpose of this is that you want to collect some Rider of Azeroth badges. That is your main currency for the event, and you earn them by completing the races. And you can just turn them in for a bunch of rewards. No matter what, you will get a reward, but obviously the better you do, the better the reward. So bronze is going to get you 1 badge, silver gets you 2, and gold will get you 3. There's going to be a total of 16 courses. So you can collect upwards to like 144 badges. There's also a quest that rewards you 10 badges, so that'll get you even that much more. Maztha is going to be your quartermaster for the event, and this is the loot that you can get. So there is a dragon riding customization on there, costs 30 badges. And then there's the Drake Racer Transmog set. Each piece is sold individually, and they cost 15 a piece. So yeah, that's basically what you're after. So this is what it would look like all together. Also, there is a Kalimdor Racer title that you can go after. You do need to get gold in order to get this title, so you will need to have gold on all your races. Here's a list of all the races that will be available, so you have an idea where they're gonna be, because the locations are literally in the race titles. And it's just like the races that you experience right now. So there is a normal mode, advanced mode, and reverse mode, which is why you can earn so many badges. Okay, so just did some simple math here. And basically, to get every single reward on the vendor, you need 120 badges. So you should be able to get this no problem then, because you can get a total of 144 plus there's the extra 10, so 154. And yeah, that's more than enough. Yeah, so it basically allows you that if you're like struggling on a couple to get gold, it kind of gives you that little leeway, for badges. So that is the event. That's everything to say on the Kalimdor Cup. And once again, you have 2 weeks to do this. So yeah, this isn't just a 1 week event. You got a couple of weeks to get all your badges, to get all your rewards, your title, and there's of course some achievements attached to it. Okay, so that is the weekly events for this week in World of Warcraft. Now for news, it is all having to do with the next patch, 10.17. So the first thing is that there's a new world event that's going to show up. It's called Dreamsurges. And basically, it's a catch-up system to gear your alts. You can get item level 424 to 437, although they do say on a limited basis. And basically how it works is it shows up in one Dragon Isle zone per week. The zone will be under the effect of a dream surge, and it'll experience dreaming winds. So this dreaming winds gives you a 25% experience bonus to your characters leveling in that zone. Very cool. That is very nice. Much better than the Dark Moon buff. I will admit, while every time Dark Moon rolls around, video-wise, I'm like, great leveling week, guys. It's because it's a leveling week, right? It's a buff, right? But me personally, I find anything below 20% kind of mediocre for like a leveling buff. So having a 25%, yeah, like I don't take advantage of a lot of the 10% buffs, yeah. Yeah, so it's nice to see an actual decent buff there. 25% is a good one. And basically every 30 minutes, the event will pop up somewhere in the zone, and you complete objectives, and then, like I said, some gear drops. The average gear is going to be item level 402. It's a veteran 1/8. And then there's some voting system. So that's what this is on screen here. And so you can vote for the Dreamsurge effects every 30 minutes, which affects everyone in the group. So you can see there's increase in nature damage done by 100%. And yeah, that's a very cool system. And you can also collect what's called a Dreamsurge coalescence. And you get that from just completing objectives in the Dreamsurge zone or looting items around the zone. And then you can use that to purchase items. So this is what they look like. Looks like a little plant, I guess. And then also there is a weekly quest for this. So there'll be a quest called Shaping the Dreamsurge. And it just requires you to collect 100 of these coalescents. And completing that quest will get you a Dreamsurge chrysalis. And that's what you use to purchase item level 415 gear, which is a champion 1/8. So you can upgrade it. And then there's this Waking Dream portal. That's just kind of what it looks like. During a Waking Dream portal, you get to advance a progression bar by defeating the Druid of Flames. And you can also destroy the altars there. Or you can dragon ride through the Flame Talon Hawks. And then once the progression bar is completed, a Flame Lieutenant is summoned. And you just kill him, and he drops Charred Elemental Remains. Basically that, you need 20 of them to turn it into something new. And then you'll also get 25 Dreamsurge Coalescence. a Whelpling Shadow Flame Crest, and a 402 item token. There's empowered rare elites as well, so while a zone is affected by the Dreamsurge, the rare mobs that spawn in that zone are empowered, they have more health, gain new abilities, and defeating the empowered ones drop 25 Dreamsurge Coalescence, a Whelpling Shadow Flame Crest, 402 item token, in addition to the usual drop table, from the rares. And this is the catch-up gear here. So this is your vendor. So this is the 402. And you can see it'll cost you 100 of the Dreamsurge currency. This table here has to do with the weekly quest. So it's the Dreamsurge Chrysalis currency. 415, in other words, is time-gated, because you're only going to get one per week. So yeah, that is the Dreamsurge function that will be coming in the next patch. Also, new Night Elf and Forsaken Heritage armor. There's a quest line involved with that. I'm not going to go too much into that. Don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but I will just pop this picture on screen so you can kind of see that there's a bit of an investment in this. Okay, so the next one is the Turbulent Timeways time walking event, which I did mention just like either last week or the week before. A mount showed up, so I'm gonna, go over it again. In the next patch, they will be returning the 5-week rotation of time walking that's like back to back. So with that, there is an item they get on use. It increases experience gained from killing monsters and completing quests by 2%. Big whoop, 2%. But it also says that completing a time walking dungeon will extend the duration by such and such minutes up to 5 hours. And gaining 10 applications will increase the total experience bonus to 30%. So yeah, it starts mediocre, but the more you do, the better it gets. So earning 10 stacks of Knowledge of Timeways will transform the experience buff into Master of Timeways, which you can see is your 30% buff. And so that's we're coming into a catch-up patch, right? There's a lot of experience buffs coming with this next patch. What'll be interesting to know is if that's going to stack with the other one, because 5 weeks of time walking, they probably will collide into each other. Well, they definitely will, because one's a weekly world quest and the other is 5 weeks of time walking. So if they stack together, without even Dark Moon in the picture, you're looking at a 55% experience buff. So yeah, very nice. So not confirmed that they will stack though, but we do know that there's going to be 2 experience buffs and they will collide into each other. So yeah, we'll find out down the road if they end up stacking. In my personal experience with WoW over the years, a lot of the time they do if they're not the same percentage. That's what I've noticed. It's a lot of the time when there's like a lot of 10%, a lot of the time they won't stack together. You only get the effect of one of them. Yeah, I've noticed that when they're different numbers, they stack. When they're same numbers, they tend to only count as one. So I personally think this one's going to stack. And with that said, with that logic, although I'm just basing this logic off of years of experience buffs, so there's no confirmation that this logic is actually true. But in my experience, it has been true. So with that said, the Dark Moon buff would apply as well, because it's a different number, right? So yeah. And then, of course, there's an achievement, which is where the mount comes in. So there is an achievement called Master of the Troubled Timeways. It's basically you just, do the event for 5 consecutive weeks, and that will reward you Sandy Shale Wing. So I guess I better get all these other games I've been playing out of the way so that I'm actually, logging into WoW a lot fucking more regular than I have been. So this is the mount here. The mount's nothing special. Like, I didn't look at this mount and I was like, hell yeah! It's really nothing special. But the event is gonna be there. All you gotta do is just take part in it for 5 weeks, right? So, yeah, it's an easy earned mount. So, you gotta take advantage of the easily earned mounts, right? Also, we found out that Tuskar Tackleboxes are now going to be trackable with the Find Fish. That will be available in the next patch as well. And then you might remember a couple of weeks ago, somewhat recently, I was talking about the ping system coming to WoW. And so we know what it kind of is going to look like now. Here's a picture demonstrating it. So, top left is the ping system. Top right is gonna be, it just shows the press and hold ping mouse wheel for, it's just your different pings, right? Yeah. And the bottom right is your UI frame. It looks like nothing, right? Bottom left is, you can see the ping on there, and then in this chat box, you actually see the pings on the chat. I personally think that's gonna get fucking annoying, seeing that in the chat boxes. Yeah, it's a good thing that I just disable my chat pretty much all the time. You guys have seen multiple, you don't see it much with the streams because my camera's over it, but chat's for the most part not even there. I take it right off of screen. Yeah. Yeah, it's not at all there. Yeah, I'll bring the chat up when friends, log in and stuff, but for the most part, and especially when I'm doing content, you see it a lot in my videos because you see my full UI, so you'll see that there's no chat visible on the screen. But yeah, I guess I'll be doing that even more often because I think that's gonna get fucking annoying. But yeah, anyway, just wanted to show you guys that so you know what it's going to look like. And so that's all the news for retail. I do have a few pieces for Classic though. Okay, so for those that don't already know, Hardcore Realms are going to be added to WoW Classic. And that is coming really soon, so I thought I would just mention a couple of details on it this week. I'm just going to briefly talk about it this week because I plan on doing a full overview next week on it, since there's still a little over a week before it shows up. So as far as when does it show up, it shows up on August 24th. Servers will be live at 3 p.m. Pacific. And it looks like it's showing up with a lot of stuff right off the bat. So you're going to have you're going to have your dungeon set quests available. The gates of AQ will already be open. The dungeons will have a 24-hour lockout. They said it's to encourage you to go out in the world and, probably so you don't play it safe too much, because if you're in a dungeon and you're with a group that can that's pretty solid at completing it easily, no risk of dying, it's not really cheating, but what's the point, right? There's no challenge, right? So they probably want to add that extra challenge so you're actually, not just doing dungeons, I guess. Because you're definitely a lot safer in an instance than you would be out in the world, right? And yeah, so that will have a 24-hour lockout. They also mentioned that there will be some extra behavior with the creatures, which basically means they'll be a little more difficult. It'll be harder to kite enemies. Dire Maul and, quests like it will have their quests at the start. And then also raids will be open as well, all the way from Molten Core to Nax. The attunement process for each raid is unchanged, so it'll be the same. And of course, the max level is 60. It's, basically, just vanilla. Yeah. Which honestly, in my opinion, is the best way to do hardcore because past vanilla shit got easy. I'm not saying vanilla was hard or anything, but this is all about leveling, right? There's certain things that I feel in both classic and retail that are harder than the other, but then there's some that's easier than the other. Like both the versions have difficult content and easy content. So yeah. And I feel like, being in a hardcore mode in a version when leveling was pretty damn slow and you were definitely a little more squishy, yeah, that's perfect place to have hardcore. Yeah, hardcore could never work in retail. Like, classic is the only place they could have it, and pretty much vanilla is the only place that would give people a challenge. Yeah. Aside from that, I haven't died in a seriously long time in retail, and even more so since I haven't really been doing a whole lot of raids and mythics. But yeah, just out in the world, you just don't die, Not unless you're stupid and take on a bunch of elites at one time or something. But yeah, there's just no threat in retail. So this is the place to do it. Also, one thing I just thought I'd add to this week's conversation on this is that they are doing free transfers for dead hardcore characters. Now, this one came as a bit of a shock, because I guess I kind of just imagined, since it'll be implemented in the system, I thought it would be more like how D3 was. I used to do a lot of hardcore over in D3, and when you died, your character was just deleted, just gone. And yeah, if there's free transfers for dead hardcore characters, then I guess your hardcore character isn't actually gone, right? Yeah, I guess it just stays dead. But what's the point of doing a free transfer on a dead hardcore character if it's not to resurrect it somehow, right? That's where my thought process is going. So I don't know. It's I could care less. I plan on doing hardcore, but I'm very I feel, I'm older now, and I don't give a shit about a whole lot anymore. And honestly, I never really did, but I care even less now. When the cheaters were in D3, I just left. Moved on to a different game. I don't care about botting. I don't care about the cheating. If it starts affecting me, I just leave the game. And and yes, so this is just yet another thing that if you don't lose your hardcore characters, whatever, but in the back of my mind, I'm well, that's a stupid way to do hardcore. But, I personally believe that you should have a deleted character at that point. And as for Myst's weekly update, I know it's been a little Palia crazy lately, and I'd love to tell you that's gonna stop, but it won't. It's a brand new game. I'm pretty hooked, and I'm a content creator that either streams everything I do game-wise or records it. So yeah, there will be a lot of Palia on the channel. Just like there was a lot of Disney. I am definitely the oddball creator. Like, people really care about niche, you know? And when it comes to games, there's the game that your channel's known for, and you're not supposed to play anything else. And you got two kinds of creators. You got the guys that are afraid they'll kill their channel, so they never expand out. And then you also got the ones that do it when they're already rich. Like, they were like that, but now they're a million plus channel and they feel secure to go and do variety. And then there's me that doesn't give a shit from the very beginning. And yeah, from the very beginning of this channel, we have been, you know, of course I main WoW, but we have definitely been variety from the get-go. I pretty much just made you guys get used to it, you know? and you know, it's panned out, you know? My other videos other than WoW used to average a couple of views, right? And yes, there's one here and there that does really bad, but for the most part, they do average around my, you know, getting close to my WoW numbers. I wouldn't say they are averaging the WoW views, but I would say getting it to half the views of the WoW videos, I call that a win. You know, it took me years to get it to that point where I could actually feel like, you know, all my videos are doing kind of okay. And we're still small, so it's not like they're getting thousands of views or anything. But the point is that I never gave a shit. You know, and I've been like that from the very beginning. I'm the only person I've seen do that where they, you know, they legit are growing off of another one. And I'm sure I've lost a couple of people from doing it, but I've also gained, you know, I feel like it's become more of a win than a loss. But yeah, so because of that, we have a bunch of games on the go right now. I've got, well, we just started Palia. There's Disney, which has been pretty caught up. I just kind of do new things on update days, but for the most part, I have played the fuck out of Disney. Like, I have over 400 hours in that game. So, you know, Palia is kind of good timing, you know? Where, like, I just decorate here and there in Disney and do no new storylines when updates come out. So, like, yeah. And then Sandrock just got multiplayer. That's my time at Portia's sequel is Sandrock. It's My Time at Sandrock. And then, of course, I'm still doing the Breath of the Wild. We have WoW, of course. And I actually started a new playthrough. I won't tell you what it is quite yet, but I started it because I forgot that Palia was like just about to release. And so I started it a week before that all occurred, and then Palia released and that put it on pause for a bit. So we got a lot of shit I'm doing. Yeah. I feel very fortunate that Dragonflight is not very good and Diablo 4 just completely bombed, pretty much. If those two games, like I've been in the situation where Diablo was very good and WoW was very good. It was during Legion. When WoW's expansion was Legion, I was playing a lot of D3 seasonal, and juggling those two, it's hard enough to juggle anything with WoW. But to juggle those two games together was so tough. And I was doing it somehow. I don't know how, because, I also had my job at the side there. And, I don't know how the fuck I was doing that. But yeah, so there's no way in hell I'd be able to play these games if those two games were actually really good right now. And I'm not saying WoW's garbage at all. Just WoW is in its forgive us fans phase, they're just being very, very careful. And the more careful they are, the less content that's going out. So yeah. And then D4, I got my issues with D4, unfortunately, which is really unfortunate because I love D1, D2, and D3. But yeah, so I just feel really grateful that I am not really playing, I'm not no-lifing WoW right now. And definitely not D4. So it's giving me that chance to actually play these games. And I've noticed lately that, if I didn't do WoW content, we would have a different niche. You know what niche that would be? Simulation games. Yeah, because I was looking at the recent games I have been playing, and they are all sim games. Disney, My Time at Portia, My Time at Sandrock. What else we got? Animal Crossing. I feel like there's probably more. I'd say Stardew Valley, but the last time I played Stardew Valley was so many years ago that, we practically can't even count it in the recent games played. But I have definitely been on this simulation type farming game aspect. So yeah, I think if I wasn't a WoW creator, I think that's exactly what our channel would be considered. But yeah, anyway, little ramble there. I'm gonna go now, so I hope you guys are having a fun time in WoW or in other games. And I'm once again a little hyped for this week of WoW, so I think I'll throw some streams in. I'll be missing Palia probably the whole time, but there's a couple of things I do want to do. And for those wondering where the trading post video is, I will work on that this weekend. I'll get it out there for you this weekend. I believe I said that in last week's video, but I swear it'll get done this weekend. I will make sure of it. And yeah, that's it. So have a great week, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.